And welcome here to TalkFCB, and welcome back to the channel here today, guys, where of course we are going to be reacting to Barca's important win, a comeback win over Real Oviedo on Thursday. We're going to be discussing exactly what Hansi Flick had to say, some really interesting quotes I thought after the game. We're going to be discussing Joan Garcia, of course, that little mistake that he had in the first half, but the impact in the second from Robert Lewandowski and from Frenkie de Jong as well. But we're also going to be talking today, unfortunately, about Luis de la Fuente. Unfortunately, we have to do that, but it's all coming up, so come on, and let's do it. And just a quick reminder to all of you guys who are waiting and eagerly anticipating the new Spotify Camp Now, well, if you can't wait any longer, you still have the opportunity to build your own, recreate the iconic Camp Now. It is a fantastic build, courtesy here of Cada. It's still at a great price, it's discounted right now, and you can get a further discount as well using the code TalkFCBCADA at checkout. I'm sure that you will enjoy it, and it is a fantastic Christmas gift as well, if we're thinking about presents already, guys. So you can find that using the link down below. I really will appreciate it. But I would like to begin, first of all, here today, guys, with some important news over the past 24 hours, because Sergio Busquets has announced that he will retire from the game of football at the end of the MLS season now, at the age of 37. And we've got to mention this, because what a player he was. And of course we mentioned all of this when he left Barca, but we have to say it again. Sergio Busquets, what a career, what a player he was. And honestly, you know, he's completed football. He did that many years ago, actually. He's won everything that there is to be won. But not only that, I think he changed the way that we all thought about defensive midfielders in the game. It's as simple as that. The way that he was able to play and operate in that area, we hadn't seen that before there. The intelligence, the vision, the understanding of the game, and the way that he played at his own pace. You know, nobody could rush Busquets, nobody could press him, nobody could harry him into a mistake. He was unique. He was absolutely phenomenal at his best, forming, of course, part of the incredible trio of Busquets, of Iniesta, of Xavi. That will go down in history forever. That is a midfield that we will never, ever forget. What a player! What a career! And I hope that you are going to enjoy a very well-earned retirement when it comes. But moving on to the current Barca team, and I think first of all, again, what we have to do here is give huge credit and sort of pay tribute to what Hansi Flick has done at this club, because yesterday it was his 50th win as the Barcelona coach. And remember, guys, he only arrived just over 1 year ago. He is the third fastest coach of Barca to ever reach that milestone. He's done it after just 67 games, 50 wins in that time, 8 draws, 9 losses. That means that he has a win percentage of 74%. That is outrageously good. And not only that, but in those 67 Barca games, we have scored, under Flick's leadership, 194 goals. 194 goals in 67 games. I mean, he's been amazing, hasn't he? I mean, what Flick has done at this club, the joy that he has brought us in such a short space of time as well, it's been heroic, and we all absolutely love him. And long may this continue, this incredible relationship between all of us for many years to come. Thank you, Chef Hansi. And I think certainly, guys, in yesterday's game, Hansi Flick did have a real impact on it there in terms of his starting lineup. I thought what we were able to do once again was just rotate a few players. You know, Flick is never ever afraid of rotating, changing things up. But at the same time then, if things aren't working out, you know, if we need to get back in the game, he will bring those players on. He will bring players on there and just do whatever is needed to get the win. So we were able to rotate a bit, but at the same time, we were able to still get the win. And of course, one of the players that came on at half-time, and he did change everything. You've got to give him huge credit once again. It was Frenkie de Jong. He was absolutely outstanding, I thought, there in the second half against Oviedo. The way that he really did grab hold of the game. And that's what you want to see from Frenkie. And that's what we started to see really since Flick arrived at the club. The way that he is able to really stamp his authority on that midfield. And yet again, he is showing his quality. It is shining through. And you're just looking at that midfield duo, Pedri, Frenkie de Jong. they are unstoppable. I mean, if you have the two of them in your team, if you have them there as the heartbeat, the nucleus of your team, it's going to be unbreakable. And what is going to be really tricky now as this season goes on, you won't want to break them up. You know, you will not want to separate those two. You will want to have them out there at all times. And of course, other players have to step up. Other players will have to do enough. But Frenkie and Pedri, they are absolutely magisterial. They're having incredible seasons, not only individually, but collectively as well. And this was yet another example of that. I thought another player as well that had a really positive, really good impact on the game yesterday was Ronald Araujo, who actually had a significant impact there in the final third, not only with his goal, but he was also a vital part as well there for Joan Garcia's goal, which was important to get us back in the game. And I thought Flick's words after the game on Araujo, they were really interesting, because he said it wasn't an easy match. You know, Oviedo made good transitions, but we defended well. And he said, I'm really happy that Araujo scored because it's a step forward for his confidence so that he believes in himself more. And these are also words that we've heard Flick say about Marcus Rashford. And it's interesting here to think of Araujo as a player who needed that bit of a lift. You know, you see him as a very confident figure, a powerful figure in our team. But, you know, even he at times has suffered there that loss of confidence. So Flick here, really important to build that up again, get the player that we know is in there to emerge again. And he said, Flick, Araujo has shown that he's doing better than he did last season. But that's normal. He said Inigo and Pau, they played a lot of games together and they knew what to do. Now we're trying out different centre-back pairings, and it's good to have those options. And I thought those were really interesting words there to ultimately say, look, last season, Araujo wasn't there. He wasn't really where we needed him to be, but he is improving because he's now understanding more and more about this high line. It takes practice. It takes actually being in that high line, being part of it to understand, okay, now's the time to step up. Now's the time to catch our opponents off. You've also got to develop a real understanding with your defensive partners there. So it does take time. Araujo, he is certainly getting there. He is certainly stepping now in the right direction. And that can only be a good thing. You know, to add somebody like him, to get him closer and closer to his best level, that is what this team needs. That is what everybody at this club would love, because he can be an asset. We know all about that. He can be a presence in both boxes, as we saw yesterday. And it was great to hear Flick talking about that belief coming back in Ronald Araujo. However, guys, we did of course concede in that first half there against Oviedo after what was a mistake from Joan Garcia. And I think it's great to see actually the reaction from the team, the reaction from Hansi Flick to the mistake from Joan Garcia, because ultimately these mistakes happen. You know, we're a team here who like to take risks. We play a very high line. We play very much on the edge. You know, we are really cutting as many corners as we possibly can. Sometimes mistakes are going to filter through. And Flick did say, look, it was a mistake. They took advantage of it. But that's football. He said this is the style that we want him to play. So it can happen. It's a consequence of our style. He said he's a fantastic goalkeeper. He defends our back line. And he does it very well. And I would really follow up on that quote there and say, yeah, it can happen. Because even in the early days, thinking they're back to Ter Stegen, we saw a few of these that happen. But for me, it's more concerning when you're not coming for things. You know, if he was, for instance, glued to his line, if he was a bit scared to come out, a bit scared here to come and claim crosses, to try and block one-on-ones, then I'd be worried. To be honest, I will take a few of these mistakes if they happen from him being brave, from him being proactive and actually coming and being aggressive in these moments. That's what you want to see. You need that personality from him. You need him to be brave, to be bold in these kinds of moments. And a few mistakes along the way, we will take that. He will earn us more points in the long run from that personality, from that bravery in the decisive times. And you also look at the way that he responded. Yes, he made a mistake. Yes, that moment wasn't ideal. It cost us a goal, but he went on to make big saves. He did not concede another. And of course, we made the comeback. In the end, we've won this one anyway. I think it's also very important here that we do talk again, though, about Marcus Rashford, because, yeah, he got another assist for Barca in this game there. He whipped in the corner for Ronald Araujo's goal there, the third of the game. And I also think, guys, we've got to utilise that a bit more. Rashford can be a real threat there from set-piece situations, free kicks, corners, anything there within range. He can really, really hurt teams. So I think it's good to see that from Rashford. And in general, I'm just really impressed with him right now. I think the past few games have been absolutely fantastic for his confidence there. And you saw him yesterday, especially in the first half, looking to take on those shots again from range, hammering shots away at goal. And that's exactly what you want to see. You want to see him, taking on those opportunities. At Barca, we really want to see players taking on shots from outside the box. When teams drop deep, when they drop off, when they put men behind the ball, why not have a go? Why not try something there a bit different? And I think right now you can really see the confidence emerging from Rashford. He has a goal contribution in 5 successive games right now, including the goal that he scored for England in the international break. But then, of course, you're thinking, oh, well, surely the English media, they're not criticising him now. They can't criticise him right now. Well, I saw a headline a few days ago from, I think it was Sky Sports, who said basically, oh, Barca, they're happy with him, but they're not discussing his permanent move until the summer. They don't want to discuss it now. They're not going to talk about Rashford until next summer. Almost as though they were trying to spin that there in some sort of negative way for Rashford, that Barca weren't talking about his move now, almost trying to criticise him in that way. I mean, seriously, the lengths they will go to try and hurt him. It is so ridiculous. But look, guys, Barca are very happy. They are delighted with what they're seeing right now from Rashford. The only reason why they're not going to go down the route of talking about a permanent deal right now is because the season is long, and ultimately we don't know where we're going to be financially. Looking into 2026 there in January, in the summer transfer window, we've got to understand where we are in terms of the La Liga restrictions. So absolutely, it's no slight against Rashford. The club are really happy with the progress. Hansi Flick is working on him personally to get the best out of him, and we are starting to see exactly that. But we have to talk about Robert Lewandowski, thinking here about players who've been decisive in the final third. And I've got to say, I was massively impressed with Lewandowski actually yesterday when he came on. It was a crucial point in the game. We needed something. We needed a real presence there in that number 9 position. And I thought his goal was phenomenal. The assist from Frenkie is absolutely brilliant too. But I think it's a world-class header. There's not many players in the world who could just come on, step off the bench, get in a great position like that, angle that header in the way that he did with the power he did as well. It was absolutely extraordinary. And don't forget, guys, it's not been the easiest start to the season for Robert Lewandowski here. First of all, he had an injury right at the end of pre-season. Then he spent a lot of games, a lot more maybe than he would have expected, on the bench, not in that starting lineup. Ferran ahead of him has been playing well. He's been scoring goals. He's had to wait patiently for his opportunity. But I thought when he said after the game, it showed maturity. This is a player who's used to playing every game, always being in the lineup right throughout his long career. But Lewandowski said, I've got patience. He said, I'm not in a rush. This season is long. We have a lot of matches. And for me, the most important thing is when I play, when I get the opportunity to play, I want to do what I love, and I want to score goals and help my team in the end. And I think that's impressive, because you could understand maybe Lewandowski in his situation with everything he's done throughout his career. Maybe when he's dropped a little bit, when he's on the bench, when he's having to watch on, you could see some players, going to a bit of a strop, have a bit of a tantrum, start to talk to the media about, I don't want to be playing more games, I expect to be doing more, especially given he knows Flick so well. But he's not doing any of that. All that he is doing is getting his head down, working hard, and when he is coming on, he's looking to score. He's looking to show why, okay, I should be playing. I should be in the lineup. And that is a sign of a player who's been at the top level, who has been absolutely phenomenal for so many years. He's well into his 30s. This is why. This is the mentality. This is the maturity. This is the professionalism of the man. And even here and now, he is still an important player. He is still an important part and a player who can help win us points. However, guys, with all of that said and done, and we are absolutely delighted with the win yesterday, it was an important one, it was a comeback one, it should give everybody real confidence and ultimately happiness as well. We do, though, need to move on to talk, unfortunately, about Luis de la Fuente, the Spanish head coach. And the reason why, actually, I've left this until the end of the video is quite simply because I didn't want to get really angry early on, and I didn't want to bring down the mood of the whole video, because honestly, this guy, he makes me angry. He really, really does. He knows exactly how to push our buttons, because, well, do you remember when Hansi Flick spoke openly about what happened with Lamine Yamal on international duty, which, by the way, has led now to Yamal missing 4 games in a row at Barca due to injury, because Luis de la Fuente and the idiots at Spain decided to give him painkillers so that he could play in useless, unnecessary games that Spain were easily going to win anyway. That's what happened. Spain mistreated, misused Yamal, and now Barca have suffered the consequences. But you know what happened when Luis de la Fuente was asked recently about Hansi Flick's words, about what he said, about what his reaction was to that? He said, I don't remember what he said. I don't even remember what he said anymore. And, by the way, I don't care. He actually said that. He said those words. He said he doesn't care. It's your job to care. It is number 1, to be honest, in your job description to take care of your players and to have sufficient communication between national team and club. We allow our players to join up with your national team. The very least you can do is, number 1, communicate with us. Number 2, listen to what we're saying. This guy is an absolute embarrassment. This is the same fool, by the way, who didn't give a damn before Gavi got injured. Remember what he said? Good players don't rest. Good players never rest. This guy is, he's such a fool. He is such a fool. If I speak about him anymore, I'm in big trouble. And I think Flick felt the same way about that. He was actually asked there about De La Fuente in his press conference saying, look, I don't care. Flick said, okay, perfect. That's his opinion. Fine. Thank you. He didn't respond to De La Fuente anymore. You can't reason with this guy. You can't speak with this guy. You can't find sense with this guy. And I just don't know. I think Barca need to have a serious think about the way that they deal with Spain, about the way we certainly communicate with them in and around the international breaks. And quite honestly, we have to make us the priority. We have to look after number 1 here. Barca are the ones that pay these players big, big money as well. Spain are not doing that. Spain are not taking care of the players in the right way. That's about Barca. So we have to make sure we are looking after ourselves, after our interests, and especially when you hear the Spanish head coach speaking in the way that he has done, disrespectfully about the words of our coach. We are not having that, mate. We are not going to accept that by any stretch of the imagination. And please do let me know, guys, in the comments down below. Head is hot, fuming right now. See, this is why I didn't want to discuss this any earlier. It would have thrown off the whole vibe of the video. But please do let me know in the comments down below how you are feeling, how you react to his words, and what you made of the great Barca win yesterday. Let's keep that smile on our faces. I will see you soon, of course. Next, we'll be building up to the game against Real Sociedad. But thank you indeed for watching, guys, and for all of your support. But until next time, as always, Vesca, El Barça.